Hello guys, welcome to another episode of the E-commerce Lab by Ecomcy, the place of everything related to Amazon FBA and e-commerce. My name is Vincenzo Toscano, founder and CEO of Ecomcy, and today we bring you Elliot Gregory, who is an account executive at Perpetua. And for those that don't know, actually Perpetua is a software solution for advertising and actually many more things that we're going to be discussing today. And to be honest, I'm very excited to have you here today, Elliot, because I feel Perpetua has so many new features under the belt, and I'm pretty sure it's going to add a ton of value for all those Amazon sellers that are struggling specifically with PPC. And I can't wait to see the demo and see what is the potential that this can definitely bring to a lot of Amazon business out there. But yeah, I mean, before we start with that, I want to welcome you, Elliot. I mean, it's a pleasure to have you here. How are you doing today?
All good. Thanks for having me, Vincenzo. Super excited to go through today's session with you and bring you to life what Perpetua has been working on over the last couple of months. But yeah, thanks for having me on. I'm super excited. Things are going well.
It's a pleasure. I mean, to be honest, we've been talking a lot here in London specifically. We encounter each other pretty much at all the events here in London, so we know each other pretty well now. We had a few drinks and everything, so very close now. Yeah. So yeah, it's definitely great to have you on. And but I mean, let's get started with you first. I think I want to hear just a little bit about Elliot, how you got started into the commerce space and how you ended in Perpetua. Yeah, just give a bit of background.
Yeah. I mean, e-commerce space. I've been here for 3 years now.
Okay.
Like originally, I had graduated from 3 years ago. I went to university in Aston in Birmingham. Didn't really have any idea on what I wanted to do after university. Was actually approached by one of my good friends' brother to work for a Facebook advertising technology partner.
I see.
From there, I began working there. Quite interestingly, it's also where I met Mark. So Mark was my manager there. I've worked with Mark for 3 years. And for context, anyone who's working here, Mark is the one who opened up our European office for Perpetua. So I joined that space, and I kind of was enthralled just with like how e-commerce businesses and retailers scale their business through online marketing. I mean, for me, a passion of mine has always been e-commerce, fashion. I've always been engrossed by the kind of streetwear space and how brands kind of market themselves, how they partner with other brands, and how they just create need products that are low quantity but are such hype from the community. It was quite interesting to see that develop from a business perspective, and then how they used the likes of when I was working at this technology partner, was how they used Facebook paid ads across Facebook, Instagram, as well as Google Smart Shopping to really, drive incremental growth across the whole of the business's landscape. And I think I was kind of thrown into it. Like I had a year under my belt, and then COVID happened. And COVID, most people are going to know this anyway, because this is all has been talked about for the last 2 years. But COVID really rattled the e-commerce space, even more so for Amazon. But the likes of Facebook and Google had to really shift on the way that their platforms worked. And I think they were hit with heavy challenges as well. Like look at Facebook, the iOS 14 updates, look at Google extending their cookies until 2024.
I know.
And I think with Amazon's growth over these last 2 years, they're feeling the heat on the back of them. So, Amazon's ability to use first-party data is very advantageous for brands. And I think what the kind of challenges I saw with Facebook and Google, I then decided to move into Amazon because Amazon was a growing space. And after having conversations with Mark, what Perpetua was doing in this space really kind of aligned with what I wanted to achieve and what enticed me, helping marketers grow through online advertising. And it's something, again, that I'm excited by, speaking to various different retailers across Amazon every day to really understand the challenges that they face on a day-to-day business and how software solutions can help adopt that. So that's how I came into the e-commerce space. Not too much of
that's very interesting. Yeah, I like that.
Broad experience under my belt, but learning every single day for sure.
That's great. Yeah, I bet that with Perpetua, every single day you're learning. I mean, with Amazon, we all know that every single week there's a new change, specifically on the PPC side of things.
Yeah.
And that's your bread and butter, right? You do that on a daily basis, so I can imagine it's very exciting. Now, let's start quickly jumping now into what we're gonna be showing today, which is basically the demo and showcases some of the main new features that Perpetua is bringing to the Amazon space. I think one of the big things that we saw announced at a couple of weeks back is the Amazon Stream new API that some of the software solutions such as Perpetua have access to. And I think super powerful because basically now, usually when we're talking about departing, basically was some very manual process. You are kind of guessing around when you were supposed to turn on and off the campaigns, but actually now we have real data and we can automate the whole process.
Exactly.
And I think that's some of the things you're going to be showing today, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, correct.
That's very nice. So I think I'm going to start putting, I'm very excited to see the power of Amazon Stream Perpetua.
Nice. Yeah, really, I think the last couple of months we've seen this like excitement across the industry. Quite interestingly enough, Stream is available for US marketplace clients. We hopefully should see this development now broaden across EU and the rest of other marketplaces in the near future as well. But I think exactly what you've just touched upon, right? Day parting was almost a bit of a logistical nightmare for advertisers. It was almost second guessing. There is ways to look into it manually without that data, looking at daily sales, see how that fluctuates, etc. But actually, the power that can be harnessed from looking at like hourly CPC and conversions data, we've seen already as massive for advertisers that are spending thousands, hundreds of thousands even every day. And like being able to tap into that data is really crucial to ensure that they're spending their money in the right places. Sadly, we're looking likely on an economic downturn, right? So I think this is going to be even more integral for business to understand how to not just only spend, not just the idea of spending more, which I think in some cases everyone always thinks that okay, we need to keep scaling spend, but actually how to make their spend work harder.
100%. Totally agree with you. Yeah, it's all about that. It's all about making sure you get the most out of your dollars, because I feel sometimes people get in the misbelief that the solution is just bidding higher and going for top placement and spending all your money, but sometimes the solution is just dealing back and doubling down on what is been working for you. And I think for sure Amazon Stream is going to allow you to do that. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. And I think as this starts to grow across multi-marketplaces, we'll see even more excitement. I know when our team, Mark, Adam, had announced this in Cannes on stage with Amazon, they were super level of excitement from the crowd. Really excited to talk about that. I think key things that we'll touch upon today, lots to go through with Perpetua, but we're going to hone in on how to use hourly bid data and then how to action that data. And then I think on top of that, we'll also look upon driving external traffic through social media to your Amazon store as well. Because I think another thing we've seen, which everyone knows, but CPCs are rising, right? Across a lot of ad placements. We're seeing external ways of using social media as a benefit to push that traffic to your Amazon pages as well. And I'll talk through some interesting stats of what we've collated so far for both Stream and also influencers.
Good. Let's do it.
Cool. Anyone watching today that hasn't come across Perpetua before, just as a brief rundown, we're a retail media advertising solution. Our main benefit and our core offering has primarily been built around Amazon. We've also extended this across other retail media platforms, but our objective is really to help advertisers scale their online advertising through automation. That automation is predominantly around like bid optimization and keyword harvesting on search, but also, we've released DSP products now as well, where we can create streamlined campaign performance. And we also have in-depth analytics such as Amazon Marketing Stream to ensure that we're being a lot more data-driven in the way that we're making decisions with our PPC as well. So kind of the one thing that we wanted to touch upon was Amazon Marketing Stream. As Vincenzo rightly mentioned, there was a lot of excitement a few months back when this was first announced. What this actually entails, Amazon Marketing Stream, is hourly conversions and sales data through an API connection. And the other offering that we've built on top of this is then being able to create bid schedules based off that data. So I'm going to just flick my screen quickly. I'm going to share another tab outside of the platform. And I'm going to showcase just some data that we've harvested and we've frozen. So just give me 1 second.
That's fine. Yeah, I think it's, to be honest, Amazon Stream, yeah, I totally agree. When it was announced, it was so big because, as I told you, back before that existed, it was done manually. And you could imagine all the account managers having to log every single time on PPC accounts, turning on and off. It was a mess.
Yeah, exactly. And like we've seen some like predominant, like previously we had a solution that allowed to run day parting. But again, I think without that kind of accurate information, I think with a lot of retailers we've spoken about, they have some inkling on, when they are performing better, what days work better for them. Because again, you can look into this from sales information, but I think the important things is really understanding like when your budgets are going dark. Perhaps you're running like ranking campaigns, right? And budgets start to go dark. So maybe understanding when you should be spending better there. Or if like conversion rate is higher and also CPC is higher, like the idea there is perhaps you don't want to reduce bids, right? So maybe you want to keep them consistent. So it's really understanding what's going on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, even more so, and then being able to scale those decisions.
Awesome.
Just give me 1 second.
That's great.
Let me see if I can just use this quickly, just because it's not letting me share my screen. If I share this quickly,
it should allow you to share. Does it allow you?
Yeah. So I wasn't able to share a PowerPoint, but I'm trying to upload these screenshots that I've got.
Okay.
Can you see this?
Okay.
If I can share this slide.
Yeah, we can see that. So let's see.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, if you go back to that screen.
Yeah, good.
There we go. Yeah, so just coming to that data, this was taken from a client that we're currently working with. I think important to know, like this is the level of insight that we get. So what we're looking at here is, so you can see across all of these, like, different colors here is different days of the week. So on the top line, we're seeing Sunday to Saturday. On the left-hand axis, we're seeing from 12 a.m. to 11 p.m. And then these this kind of color coding indicates when so in Perpetua, we're looking at cost per click as the main metric. So we're seeing it as 60 cents as an average across the week. And then we're seeing as the colors start to get darker when that cost per click increases. So we're seeing here on specific days, like, if I look at Tuesday from 4 a.m. up until 11 a.m., cost per click seems highest. Yeah, exactly. And again, like, it comes back to this, like, if conversion rate is higher and cost per click is higher, perhaps like you don't want to be bidding down, right? Because perhaps, you are still getting that good amount of, exactly. You want to look at the different data points together rather than just siloed. You don't want to just be looking at cost per click. You want to be looking at conversion rate together. That's why we have those 4 metrics at the top there: the sales, impressions, cost per click, and conversion rate. So we can really measure out. But the key thing here is really understanding, like, okay, as those cost per click starts to get lower, does conversion stay the same? And in this case, obviously, we'd have to dive into it in a bit more detail, but some stats that we saw from Prime Day, saw that cost per click during the morning was 40% higher than usual. So the kind of indication for anyone that wasn't using Stream was that budgets were starting to go dark quite quicker because costs were higher. We actually saw when it started to get to the afternoon, that cost per click started to decrease, but conversion rate kind of stayed pretty similar there. So advertisers that were able to take advantage of this level of data were able to ensure that their budgets weren't going dark, and they were able to maximize in specific times where CPCs were lower, so advertising costs were lower, but conversions were still there, and it could still generate a healthy amount of sales.
Very good. Okay.
And if you just click to the next screen as well, Vincenzo, if you just click to the next slide, this is kind of, again, it shows this kind of picture, right? So if you go back to slide 2, here, you can see we're looking at attributed sales and cost per click in this view now. We can see the cost per click starts to rise again in the morning, and sales kind of stays the same. Sorry, cost per click and sales is kind of just gradually building, but it isn't until like the later stages, until 3 p.m. onwards up until 9 p.m. that cost per click starts to decrease and sales increases. So again, using this level of information, this is where we can start to make conscious decisions. And I think that's kind of been the reasons why perhaps advertisers on Amazon haven't previously used this data, right? Haven't previously done things such as day parting. I've spoken to advertisers before, they've tried it in a manual way.
He was guessing, basically. Somehow I was guessing.
Exactly.
They're trying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. You're guessing different times and see what works, and that's it.
Yeah, I'm sure as an agency owner, you've probably seen similar things with clients, right? And they're asking like, oh, when are we converting the most? Or our budgets are starting to go dark. And it's been a previously a difficult challenge to solve, and almost again, like I've mentioned, a logistical nightmare to day part without that level of information.
Yeah, awesome,
cool.
So I guess we're gonna go into the next slide, right?
Yeah, well, I can actually share my screen this time
awesome.
Because this is where I can go back into the platform, so you can see this on screen all good here, right?
Yeah, we can.
Awesome. So we've got that performance data. Again, as mentioned, this is currently live for Amazon US Marketplace, that hourly reporting. But as a whole, we actually have like day parting features across all marketplaces. We're just waiting for that next API connection where we can start to join the data from wider Europe. But actually, interesting enough, we can run like bid schedules on top of this. So using this data, we can then schedule bids in this format. So you can tell the system to either not be bidding a certain percent. We can bid up to 10x%. And essentially, you would just copy the value across the certain hours that you've noticed that you want to make these changes, or where you want to be bidding more aggressively, where you perhaps want to be pulling back a little bit of spend. And then you would apply this to our campaign structure. In Perpetua, we have a very unique way of launching campaigns. It's done through a goal structure. I think it's very much more product orientated. It's much more product focused. You apply this to a goal, it would then be automatically applied either to a number of campaigns or just a single campaign.
Awesome. So that basically you can say, let's say you find out that between 4 and 7 in the afternoon, your bids perform better. You could put a multiplier in terms of percentage, so you go top placement or something like that, right? That's basically the essence.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think as well, like, there's other like day parting. I actually saw a really interesting LinkedIn post. I think this was done by Joe over at another ad tech company. AdAdvance, who talked about day parting as well. He mentioned some like really interesting stats in terms of like day parting as a whole, and also like the fact that it should be used coincidentally with like your bid structure, the way that you manage campaigns. I think also like really important thing is like actually tracking like your performance in terms of like market share. Another feature that we have in Perpetua is like hourly share of voice. So not only can we match like conversions data, but we can also match share of voice data. So you can see during each hours of the day, when are you dominating either, if it's organic, if it's top of search, sponsored brand, etc. And we can match this. So I think there's a lot of other kind of factors that come into day parting, but it should be used in essence to like ensure that you're maximizing your budget at certain times, or you're making sure that you're pacing and you're not just going out of budget and not losing any important sales.
That's very interesting. And I think a question some people may have regarding Amazon Stream, because it's basically something new that Amazon just rolled out a couple of months back. If you connect your account, let's say for the first time, does it go backwards in terms of gathering the data, or you start from zero from the moment you start using Stream? How does it usually work?
Yeah, really good question. Something I will come back to you and confirm on the exacts, but in Perpetua we have typically a way of like looking at the last 60 days of data.
I see.
This I'm not
Awesome.
too sure if this has been disrupted with Stream, but we can look at like the last 60 days of data, which typically goes into like how we should structure bids.
Yeah, all of the metrics.
How we should. Yeah, exactly. Like looking at attribution, relevancy, etc. So I imagine probably the same format in Perpetua as well. When you connect an account, we store data up until for a year as well.
Wow.
So
okay. Very good.
Yeah, from the day that you connect up until a year later, we store the data in Perpetua. So, but yeah, I will come back to you.
Yeah,
in terms
that's good.
Of that too. Cool.
Great. And I think the last question is regarding the goals. So you say you can apply and combine this with goals. That means you can also make sure that while you do the parting, you are targeting your 𝐂𝐻𝐿TAX, your tag and things like that, right? In essence.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so with Perpetua, we have again like a unique way of structuring
which is great, yeah.
campaigns. So these campaigns fall under a goal. A goal will launch a number of campaigns automatically for you. Depending on the structure, whether it's classic, which is our predefined structure where we launch like either 3 to 6 campaigns, depending on what you're trying to achieve, or custom, which is more of a enhanced way of targeting where you want, specific way of targeting, harvesting, etc. It can be launched on either 3 to 6 or 1 campaign. But yeah, these would be applied to those campaigns, and with each of those campaigns, you would have separate target ACOS and daily budget parameters. This is really as an indicator to our sister on how we should be bidding and how the bid should be maximized during certain times.
Very good. And I think the last thing, just to start concluding on the Amazon Stream side of things, if I'm not mistaken, as soon as somebody sign up with a Perpetua, if you're selling the United States, you get access to Stream, right? It's part of your service,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, correct. So we have different tiers. We typically offer this tier to anyone spending above 10K.
Okay.
We offer that because we see that, normally.
Yeah, it makes sense. Usually if you spend less, you don't need this. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, precisely. I didn't want to say earlier about, increasing your spend based on sales, but like if you are selling well, typically you are spending quite a significant amount. At least
sure.
that's what
especially
we've
nowadays
seen as well.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, I mean, costs are rising, right? And again, like Amazon's becoming more competitive, so you do have to spend more. But yeah, we offer this as part of our pro plan. Any US marketplace clients, so you don't have to be based in the US. If you have a US ad account, you get access to this as long as you're in the pro plan. Anyone in the pro plan not selling in the US, you get the bid multiplier schedules, and again, like we're looking to hopefully have this level of data across Europe soon.
That's great, man. That's great. Thank you for clarifying that. Is there anything else you think in terms of the Amazon Stream that you'd like to cover for Perpetua before we jump into the external traffic tool as well?
No, all good. I think obviously this is case by case basis, but for anyone that is, considering this but would like to see some results, I'd really recommend checking out, Incrementum Digital have posted some results post Amazon Marketing Stream. So for anyone looking to see, the proof in the pudding, check out Incrementum Digital on LinkedIn. They posted something recently in terms of the results they'd seen with this. And then if anyone wanted any further information, feel free to contact either me. You can reach out to me on LinkedIn to ask any more questions, or come through to our website. Our team would be happy to answer anything there too.
Awesome, man. That's very nice. Great. So let's now jump into the external traffic, I think, right? I think I'm very excited to see that as well, because to be honest, I agree with you. PPC is becoming in some categories so expensive that sometimes it's cheaper to get the traffic outside and bring it, even if conversion is lower, than try to compete with keywords that you pay $8 per click, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm very excited to see what you guys have to offer with the influencer tool.
Yeah, it's kind of how we segment our platform out as well. Like, we've got our optimization across sponsored. We've got our reporting that's heavily influenced around sponsored as well. Then we've got this kind of like full funnel strategy as well. So we're a DSP partner. We've just built the first DSP automation solution. We have partnerships that allows us to produce Amazon editorials as well, both on and off Amazon, which is an external way. And also now this, influencer product, which I think is getting more and more traction every day, right? I think TikTok is becoming an increasingly sought for platform that advertisers are turning to, just because the mass amount of kind of customers, consumers on it and taking in information every day, as well as just as their algorithms. But we're looking right now at Amazon's becoming more competitive, as mentioned. So how do we find ways right now to drive this external traffic from Amazon, whether it be through the DSP, whether it be through editorials, whether it now be through influencers, to then drive cheaper traffic and drive incremental growth onto influencers, onto your Amazon page, and grow the business there too. So we've developed this influencer solution. This influencer solution, in a nutshell, allows us to tap into a pool of networks of influencers that we've got, and then be able to easily create custom briefs that you send to those influencers, and then you can track the direct performance from those campaigns directly to your Amazon listing, which you can see incremental growth. Reason why we developed this product as well is because a massive ball ache for a lot of advertisers trying to work with influencers. I'm sure, Vincenzo, you probably know firsthand like how difficult it can be to try and reach out to influencers, hit back from them. Yeah, exactly. So we've developed this way to make this a much more easier process. Actually was doing some reading earlier today as well. Marketing Week have just produced their marketers guide to TikTok. I found out that 1 in 4 TikTok users usually either say that they research a product or purchase after directly seeing a video of a product, which is like massive numbers.
Yeah, it's big.
And for any advertisers that isn't using TikTok currently, or doesn't think that they have the product, then like you'd be really surprised at the amount of content on TikTok and what people will publish about that specific content, and B, just you're missing out on the potential audience, right? Especially if a lot of your sales are being driven through Amazon. You're missing out on really a substantial amount of traffic that perhaps your competitors are tapping into. So in Perpetua, this is a separate part of our platform. You would log in, you would connect your accounts. We would then have, as an Amazon partner, we have access to both the Amazon sales data, which you can see through attributed and organic, and then we also have like pixel tracking as well. So we can start to include like A to C, Spark ads as well. We've developed a Spark ad solution, as well as being able to see like search queries and search frequency rank. We know Amazon and we know influencers, TikToks on TikTok and /Insta. Most people will search for the brand /product after. So I think it's really incremental to measure like overall brand uplift through search frequency rank, as well as organic rank uplift, which is why we try and coincide the 2 data points, both from an Amazon perspective and also from a pixel perspective too.
I mean, to be honest, just this dashboard is a game changer, because most agencies out there, I know that they do all this manually and then try to do all the reporting and the attribution. It's a mess, so I think it's definitely a no-brainer, because I mean, you have everything on a single button. I even think you guys do the whole journey of hiring the influencer through the platform, everything. So it's like you save for sure a couple of hours just by doing everything within Perpetua.
And that's the idea behind what we want to achieve across the whole product. Like, stop spending time where you're like manually doing stuff, whether it be like ad optimization, whether it be searching for new influencers. Like, DSP is a new ballpark, like trying to create a DSP campaign. So let's find easier ways to do that using automation. So how we do it in Perpetua, again, we do it through this goal structure. Again, goal focused on a product, so it's product orientated. You choose the product, you then choose the creative brief. So this is really indicating to that specific influencer what they should do, any specific requirements, what they should avoid, captions, hashtags, and mentions. And then we go into the targeting. So any location of those specific users, the categories they're interested in, age ranges as well. Like, I think home and lifestyle is a really, really big one at the minute. So for any brands that are currently on it using TikTok but are selling in the home and kitchenware on Amazon, I'd highly recommend, just because the amount of TikToks my other half consumes every day based on that and shares with me would be enough for any brand. So yeah, but you can be completely customizable on like essentially what the influencer should do, and then also the way that we should be targeting. As soon as you've inputted all of this information, you choose the targeting type. So we've got influencers across Instagram, TikTok, Snap, Facebook. We talked a lot about TikTok, so I'm going to continue on this thread. You name it. Perhaps you name it either maybe you want to name it just by the product. You then choose the search term that you want to be advertised on as well. So this would probably appear in the hashtags as well. So if people didn't directly click from the video, we can also attribute from them just naturally searching from that as well. And then the total budget. As soon as you've done this, this will be launched to the select pool of influencers. So if you've gone very granular, we would have more granular influencers that would be opted in. If you've gone quite broad, there would probably be a large amount of influencers that would be opted in here. And when I say opted in, what happens is you would have this campaign live. If you click into the campaign, you can see the creators that have opted in. So essentially you would have influencers based on this criteria here.
And you can filter in down from there.
Yeah, exactly. So each influencer has their own price. The budget that you associate with the campaign is essentially total budget that you want to spend. So you'd have each influencer based on their followers, you know, amount of like engagement that they receive.
It's gonna vary significantly. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can see the content that they published. You can see anything that's in draft, anything that's published. You know, it normally takes a couple of weeks with most influencers. What happens is they'll get a link to your well, you would subsidize the cost for the products. They would send it to them. They would do the creative brief. And then essentially we would be able to track that specific performance. Interesting stat again, Prime Day. We had a customer that went live on Prime Day. They saw, I think they saw an uptick of like 6,000 clicks, with the average cost per click around about like 30 to 40 cents. So really, really cheap traffic, especially on Prime Day, from being driven external sources to, you know, further boost on a very, very important seasonal event.
Very powerful. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely super good when it comes to specifically saturated markets, where you're paying, as I said, there are some categories where you're already paying $7-8 per click, and I mean, it's no brainer. You rather put those clicks on external traffic, and I bet that in some instances, even a lower conversion, you can definitely do a lot of sales, and we all know that also going to help with organic ranking. You're going to bring other positive outcomes, so it's a no brainer. Yeah, Ben, but to be honest, I'm very impressed. I think you guys did an amazing job. I like the fact that everything's so clean. Like the dashboard is very clean. You can put the metrics that you want, reporting, finding influencers. Like all the other solutions I have seen, or the manual process is a nightmare. So yeah, congrats. It's very nice.
I'll pass that on to our product team. Really appreciate it, Vincenzo. Yeah, one thing like on top of that as well, like, you know, social media is like very new for a lot of, well, I say very new, but especially the like a way of advertising through TikTok is really new to maybe some of the long-standing or like smaller sellers. So it can be kind of off-putting with this ever-changing advertising space to really understand like what you should be doing. We actually have a way here to explore like trending videos right now to get some kind of let's say like understanding on what's working in the market,
ideas
what
basically
perhaps would work best. Yeah, ideas for what should work best on your brand. we also have, a full influencer team that will help with onboarding and can help with any recommendations in terms of setting budgets, where the budgets differentiates across each, different across each different ad placement as well, and different social media platforms. So I think we put a lot of work into this product because we're seeing TikTok evolve all the time.
I know,
and
it's growing fast.
Yeah, exactly. And I think any benefits for as Amazon becomes more competitive, CPCs are cheaper versus Facebook and Google advertising, but
I know
it is growing. So costs are growing. So let's look at ways to drive this externally and build brand awareness.
That's very nice, man. So yeah, I think maybe is there anything else you would like to call regarding the service, like how people can maybe get access to it, or where they can find more information if they're interested also in the influencer side of things, the service?
Yeah, I think again, you don't have to be a search advertiser. Like, you don't have to be using Perpetua for search advertising. You can come directly to us if influencers is something that you're interested in. Yeah, absolutely. It's a standalone part of our product. It's separate cost to our search product, and you don't have to be an active user. So again, offer stands. Anyone that's interested in learning more about either of these core features or just having a chat about Amazon advertising as a whole, feel free to reach out to me on LinkedIn. Also, you can come directly to our website, and one of our team would be able to chat to you. But I'm always available, happy to chat on LinkedIn with any advertiser that's currently looking to explore this.
That's awesome, man. So yeah, I think I'm gonna make sure to put all the links in the description, your info, so they can reach out. But yeah, in the meantime, I want to thank you, man. Thank you very much for the demo and showcasing all these features. I think they are definitely game changer, and they're gonna make their life so much easier for so many Amazon sellers. And I'm sure I'm gonna have you in future demos because you guys in Perpetua are killing it. I mean, every single month you guys are releasing something new. So I'm pretty sure we're gonna do further demos in the future, 100%.
All good, man. All I can say is thank you for having me on. We're really grateful for having me on. So yeah, I appreciate that, and it was really exciting to get to talk with your audience about Amazon Marketing Stream and all things influencers. I'm an avid watcher of your podcast, so looking forward to what you post next as well.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. So see you in the next one. Okay, have a nice one.
Awesome, nice one.